Well, hey, welcome to the second channel, and I wanted to make it basically a giant yap session to answer all your questions, just to talk to you guys for a while, and turn it on if you're bored or whatever you want to do, and listen to this dipshit talk about FIFA slash other stuff. But if you want to see more of my content, then subscribe if you are new. If you guys would like to buy coins, you can go to MMOXP.com. The link is in the description. You can use my code JFC at checkout for a 5% discount. And let's begin now. The first comment is going to be one that I read actually already, but it got the most upvotes yesterday, so I was like, okay, well, I guess I'll start with this one, even though it's a little bit drama filled. Creed87 says, all comments will be replied to. Okay, let's try this on for size. Bit tricky, as I know YouTubers don't generally like to throw shade at each other, but I feel like I need to know a genuine creator's opinion on ... the FUT accountant. I'm aware he has a large following, and I did used to enjoy his content. However, in recent times, he has been shilling super hard for EA. I won't read the whole thing, but he's basically saying intentionally giving bad advice to viewers. I hear he's an EA content partner, but I'm not sure on that. And a lot of comments below were saying like facts, whatever, right? I said I'd respond to like every comment, so I'm gonna respond to this. And I guess this kind of, to me, it basically just becomes more of a content preference, I suppose, when we're talking about other YouTubers out there that are more along the lines of the family friendly side, kind of, because to be honest with you, that is what YouTube wants for the most part, is for creators to be more family friendly than not. And to be honest with you, I can't really hate on somebody that wants to do that, because to be honest with you, again, I know I say that a lot, I'm probably gonna say that about 10 times in this video, but to be honest with you, if somebody wants to make YouTube their career, if they're being like super calculated about it, they're probably not gonna be swearing as much and be more vulgar and be negative. They're gonna be more positive and gonna say more good things about XYZ, not because they're disingenuous, but just because they're gonna look at the bright side of things more often, because that's kind of just the smart thing to do. And I don't really watch FUT accountant's content anymore. I did used to love him, and listen, I will still, I mean, Nate has been a person in the FIFA scene for like 6 years now, and he's been fucking amazing. Like, no disrespect to him at all. I make similar content to him, so he clearly paved the way a little bit for a lot of us, I think. It's just kind of a content preference, I suppose. It just depends if you like the more positive and less negative feedback and less EA hate all the time, you'll probably watch him. And if you like the more cynical people out there, the more I don't really know what the word is, not like, you know, people look at the downside more often, but the people that just, I suppose, like are just more cynical, you might be more gravitated to my content. And I don't think it's necessarily like a fuck that guy and this guy's great. It's just more just like a preference thing, to be honest with you. And that's kind of really all I gotta say. Like, I think it's just more of, people will be out there that will like him a lot more than my content, because to be honest with you, I've gotten comments before where it's like, hey, if you didn't like swear, if you didn't do this, you didn't do that, I'd probably watch you more often. And it might not be smart for me to not do these things. I mean, it might not be, but I just want to be my genuine self. And am I gonna hate on somebody who wants to be what YouTube would rather have and what EA would rather have? Because they're probably just smarter than I am, to be honest with you. Like, they're probably playing the game better than me. Not to say they're disingenuous, but they're probably just playing the game better than I am, maybe even. So I'm not gonna say it's like a fuck that guy thing and this guy's the best, and I don't think you're saying that either, but you know what I mean. Like, it's all personal preference at the end of the day, I suppose, right? But okay, let's keep on going. We've got plenty more to get through. Alfredo Gago Sanchez says, here is a good question. Well, I'm assuming if you're asking it, you probably do think it's a good question. But anyway, in past years, as well as this year, I have known that like 5-star weak foot isn't really 100% as good as the player on their strong foot, excuse me. And my infallible proof, okay, is that if you finesse plus outside of the box with a 5-star weak foot player's weak foot, quote unquote, they won't shoot it as well. In past FIFAs, I have seen it to be the case, even with other shot types. This game, I have felt some cards 5-star weak foot to feel fake the same way I have in years past, and wanted to hear your thoughts about it. I think that, Jesus Christ, my cheeks are red. I might be a little bit more fucking hammered than I expected. I've had a few drinks. Anyway, I would say that there has been things in the past that EA have shown us that 5-star weak foot players have the same stats on both feet, right? So it's not going to be any different if you're on the right foot compared to the left foot if they have 5-star weak foot. But of course, I mean, would it shock me if there were differences between right foot and left foot finesse shots outside the box? Not really. I mean, that wouldn't shock me at all, to be honest with you. I don't know if I've noticed a huge difference between the two, but I haven't taken a ton of like weak foot outside the box finesse shots too often. I usually put finesse shot players on their strong foot side, like the opposite side. So Son is on the left wing, Sala on the right wing, etc. So I'm not like too sure about that. I can't give you 100% of an answer really, but what I will say is that I think it's probably supposed to be exactly the same. Could it be a little fucked up? Yes, because the game is a little fucked up. I mean, the game's a lot of fucked up. I mean, we know that by now. So I don't know how we'd ever tell if it was messed up or not, but to me, it would make sense if you think that, but I don't know how we would have concrete proof of like that being worse with the left foot than a right foot, because I mean, this game is just basically, it's very hard to prove things with concrete facts. And if there was a way to actually do that, I think EA would probably be in some trouble. That's a conspiracy theory, putting my tinfoil hat on, but anyway, Peak Quintero says, here's a video I would like you do. I would like you do. Okay. How to deal with certain strategies players use. For example, the constant pressure, one, or those who do the dribbling by the box until your defense makes a mistake. So I guess he's saying like possession players, counterattack players, you know, players who play a very specific play style. And I think there is maybe something valuable to a video like that. To me, I think there's a couple things that I think I would rather make than something like that, and that's make a video that says how to beat a player that you think is better than you, and then how to beat a player that you think is worse than you. Because odds are most of the players you play against you will be able to tell pretty easily if you think they're better than you slightly, or maybe a lot, or they're worse than you slightly, or maybe a lot. I feel like in FUT champs, especially, less so division rivals, because that's like, you know, very, very specific matchmaking, but in the open matchmaking field, a relatively open matchmaking field, I feel like a lot of the time, a video where we can talk about how to beat a player who maybe is slightly better than you, which I did last year but haven't done this year yet, I think maybe would be more valuable, because there's a couple of tips I can give you. One, before we even made a video like that, a player who's better than you want to be as unpredictable as you can possibly be. So this happens a couple times, maybe every few weekends, when I play somebody who I know is probably a player who's getting 20-0 on a weekly basis. I play against those kinds of players, I'm almost doing things I wouldn't normally do on the field. I'm doing things like L1 reverse elasticos constantly, Burba spin cancels, and Cruyff turn cancels constantly, which I do a lot, but especially when I'm playing them, I know I need to be unpredictable to a point where almost I don't know what I'm doing myself. Like, you need to be so unpredictable that you are at a point where you are borderline unpredictable to yourself, honestly, because if you kind of know what you're doing but you also don't the person who's like reading you will also not know what you're doing. And you guys know when you play somebody who is worse than you, that you're pretty sure is worse than you, and it's almost hard to read them because they're so not good. It's a similar sort of feeling, right? So it's kind of what I would say for that. And somebody who's worse than you is just concentrate on the fundamentals. Concentrate on passing the ball a lot. You know this game is auto press to the nines, okay? Somebody can be absolutely brain dead and press like 2010 Barcelona and 2019 Man City, because this game does it for them. It's just sticking to fundamentals like passing, X passes to somebody who's right next to you, and just moving the ball a lot and taking really simple things the defense is giving you is kind of what I can say for that part. But I can make a more in-depth video on that like later on. AFH says TOTS cards should be completely based off performances. The fact that they aren't, and that EA admit they have the final say on who makes it, tells you everything you need to know about their priorities And I mean, yeah, it's not really saying anything new. I completely agree with you. And I think TOTS cards usually are based on like, did they have a pretty good season? The answer is usually yes. It's just a player who had a pretty good season compared to a great season. If that player that had a pretty good season is going to be a more of a name value in terms of a pack seller than the guy who had a great season, that guy will get in, right? And it's really just the unfortunate truth of how this game works. I don't know if that'll ever change, but to me, yes, that it shouldn't be how it is. I don't know if that will ever change, and I completely agree with you, though, AFH. I completely agree with you. Ruben the Pig says, I will not forgive EA for only bringing out one single rest of the world TOTS team. They only care about the top 5 leagues. What a sad excuse for a game. I think we're going to get more as time goes on, though, so I wouldn't, like, fret too much right now. If you know, we're in the TOTS team 3 and they have 3 rest of world TOTS cards, and like, yeah, I think there's time to probably complain, but maybe number 2 has like 6 of them and there's not maybe as much room to complain. But yeah, I mean, we know what cards will make it in. The pack sellers that had okay seasons, or if they didn't, there'll be a moments card. So it stems back to the same argument we were talking about, where I feel like performances are not as based in FIFA cards as maybe they once were, or maybe that's me looking at things with rose tinted glasses. I feel like that's not, but hey, maybe that is. Who fucking knows? Shampar says, even after spending money, I still didn't get shit. A bunch of fucking Allisons. Well, I must say that after spending money, real life money that you earned working probably hard as hell, you didn't just deserve a few Allisons. But also, don't spend money on this godforsaken game when it's in this state. Please, God, please don't do it. This game, I mean, you guys know how buggy this shit has been since release. You know how unfinished and not caring this game has been. If you give them money, you are supporting them through all of this. I don't care how good of a deal it is. I don't care how much money or how many coins you're gonna make off spending, oh my God, I should do this. You shouldn't do it. All right, you shouldn't do it. But hey, you gotta learn your lesson somehow, Shampar, and hopefully you did learn your lesson, and like, don't give them money as much as you were, okay? Devin McCumber says, here's what I know for a fact. I will be packing Kane this week. Well, first of all, I'm gonna stop you right there, because if we go look at FUTBin, holy Jesus Christ almighty, save me from what the devil is tempting me, because holy fuck, he is sitting at 5.9 million coins. That, to me, there is zero chance he ends up even close to this as time goes on. Now, could I be wrong? I could be, but those stats in this card does not strike me as a 6 million coin card. It definitely doesn't. But anyway, I clicked on the wrong Twitter feed here. I was reading about Kendrick Lamar and Drake's beef, which, by the way, holy fuck, that has been insane. But let's keep going. I can't get away from him. I packed his team of the year mentions, his team of the week, every one of them, his team of the month, which doesn't exist. So if you pack his team of the month card, I mean, you might be absolutely off the fucking ganj. I can't get away from him. I did his team of the month, which second time doesn't exist. You may be off the papaya to have a striker when I first started, and now I just can't seem to stop packing him, and got him 4 times last week as a gold. Well, hey, dupe theory has been a popular theory for many a year now. Maybe you got dupe theory. Keep them all in your club. Try and get a TOTS Kane, and hopefully if you get him, you get a 6 million coin card in your club. RMMM says, this is for JFC, but mostly big NWSL fans like me. NWSL TOTS prediction. Here's the prediction that he's got here. Some popular names like Alex Morgan, Sophia Smith, Mommy, Trinity Rodman, Mommy. A lot of these guys in here, you know, Jaden Shaw, Amadine Henry, some high-rated cards in here. If you want to see somebody who like watched NWSL Dabinha's in there, what he predicts his TOTS to be, there is his TOTS there. I wish I could have thoughts on that, but I have not watched a single game. Eric T says, hello, I love you. Dominoes says, I like how fast you talk. That's the first person to think ever say that in my comments. I usually get comments saying like, shut the fuck up, loser. Slow down for once in your life, you fucking virgin. And I'm like, okay, I'm sorry. I really apologize. Ruben Malone, this is past 2 weeks, every day like 5 to 7 a.m. UK time. In Div 3/2 rivals, there are only AFK players. They all have the snowflake badge, and weirdly, mostly have the season's Kuman in their teams. Bots, question mark? Not not complaining, got 2 weeks rivals rewards for nothing, and completed some evos, but just weird. They literally do all the same thing while holding possession. I don't get it. Like, what objective are they AFK slash rubber banding for? Makes no sense. And honestly, you might be fucking faded as well, because that sounds insane. I don't know what you're playing against. It probably, if that's actually the case, it probably is bots, honestly. Trying, maybe they have a DC glitch where they disconnect and they end up getting a win or something like that. I'm not sure, but why they would all run base Kuman between 5 to 7 a.m. in Division 3/2 rivals, you might be off the Papania as well, but I'll let that slide for right now. I wish I could tell you, Ruben. I really wish I could tell you there. Doc and Rome says this probably does not matter to most people, but Moments is now broken. Try to load a moment scenario and see what happens. The pitch is completely empty, and you just watch the clock wind down while the ball sits still on the field. Well, I'm not going to load one myself because, my God, I can't be asked. But if that's the case, it's just more of an indictment on how much of a fucking failure the Moments game mode has been for the last 2 years. This was supposed to be the new game mode that got people hyped up for FIFA 23, I believe, and it has done absolutely nothing of the sort. And to also help with that, EA have done nothing in return to make it hyped up. They could do things to where it could be like, they can make it so that, like, hey, you want a 90 rated, like, interesting card for a certain amount of moment stars, then you could get it. But they don't give a fuck because they can't make money off moments. So they just said to themselves, like, actually, this is kind of a stupid idea. We can't make money off this. So, like, more throwback kits for $5 question mark, please. Am I being hateful, spiteful, cynical, unfair? Perhaps, but I don't give a flying fuck. Flip333 Flip says, have you tried to play Moments Free Kick Frenzy? It's an empty field with no players and time runs out. Well, we just heard that one. So thanks, EA. CyberFM says, I love you, you cheeky, sexy man. Keep up the good work. Sexy is quite debatable. I appreciate the gas, though. I get it. The boys says, I like men. Me too. I gotta admit, I like men as well. Sinful Trivio says, oh, Jesus Christ. Every 10 wins, we need a free 89 rated fodder card with terrible stats. So it's strictly fodder, or just give us exchange packs. I'm down for that. You know, I'm not going to say much about that. I'm always down for more repeatable rewards. You know that. Papa Dottie Club says, spent every coin I had on doing the Saliba Evo. Winter Wildcard Saliba. Yep, we saw that. After hours of games, I finished him and pause. I was overjoyed, extremely impressed by his card, and my next 81-2 I packed TOTS Saliba. I want to end myself. 250k down the drain. Melting emoji. Does EA do this on purpose? I swear, if you have a good TOTS card, you are guaranteed to get him as a dupe. Like, what the fuck? I've seen so many TOTS Declan Rice dupes. It's concerning. Melting emoji. Melting emoji. Melting emoji. I mean, that's been a popular theory for many years now. Dupe theory kind of runs along a similar vein as this theory here. Will there be proof of this? I mean, there's good luck proving it. We just have circumstantial anecdotal evidence, and it does seem like it's more than likely a thing. But this is the problem with probabilities in such a grand scale of people on the game and packs being opened and just cards in the game. It's extremely hard to quantify certain things, and it's extremely hard to find an exact answer on these types of things. And all you can really do in the day until we get some concrete answers by somebody who probably ended up like working at EA or had insider information is just guessing. And it does seem like it might be a thing, and that's all I can really say. I mean, it probably is, but do I have proof of that? I guess I really don't. I mean, there's no way to really prove that. Hi, it's Gabe. This is for the Q&A. What are your 5 favorite movies? Also, when will we go UFO hunting? 5 favorite movies is a tough one. I would say this is a very cliche answer. When I first watched Shawshank Redemption, I cried like a baby. So I'm gonna say Shawshank is gonna be in my top 5 for sure. I love crime movies. I think 7 might be in there. Zodiac could be in there for sure. I love those types of movies, with like the Fincher movies. I love Empire Strikes Back. I think Empire Strikes Back is the best Star Wars movie hands down. That's at 4. I maybe would go with Interstellar in my top 5. I would say. I mean, it's hard to not put a Nolan movie in there. Probably say Interstellar over Inception. Inception's close, but I'd probably say Interstellar. I like a little more Inception. It's a very basic top 5, but I think that's probably my top 5 of movies. I mean, an unpopular pick I maybe say would be Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory. I think it's probably close to that as well. Maybe more unpopular pick. Reed Young says, I played Weekend League and 17 of my games were being quit at 0-0. 17 of them? 17 were quit at 0-0. And believe me, I can hate on EA, but at what point are we gonna say you're a shithole, but so are we? I'm sorry, if 17 of your games were quit at 0-0, I'd delete the game. I swear to God, I'd burn my PS5. I'd light it on fire, throw it into my nearest landfill, and send it to Satan himself down south. I don't know what the fuck I would do if 17 of my games were a 0-0. If that's the case for you, I don't know what I would do, actually. Thing is, I probably shouldn't say on YouTube, otherwise I would get demonetized. Actually, on second thought, this channel's not monetized yet, so I might actually just unleash anything I want to say in this video, honestly. But you know, I do agree, though, there's a level, of course, of the community being toxic, right? I think EA is the main culprit, but the community cannot be completely absent of guilt. There's no damn way. The community is definitely has some guilt in there as well, because the feature exists, but we have to still exploit the feature. So there is still some blame for sure in the players that play the game. The main fault can be EA, but some of the fault has to be on us. Look inward. We think EA's toxic, yet we back out when it's 0-0. Go fuck yourself. Big Fwan says, who's your favorite player of all time? This might be unpopular. I'm gonna say a name that got me into football 10 years ago. It's a name it's very well known, but most people probably would think he had a quote-unquote flop career. It's probably Paul Pogba. Honestly, it probably is still Paul Pogba to me. I think that Pogba is one of the most gifted footballers to ever play the game. I think that the situation in Man United with him, Man United did not know how to use him at all in his preferred position. I think Pogba's a very unique player, and he needs certain players around him to really fulfill his potential. And I think Mourinho, it's not even really Mourinho's fault per se, but Mourinho, and I think Carrick was there after Mourinho got sacked, and you know, those managers, Ole was there for a while. Pogba, like, I don't think they knew how to use Paul Pogba. I don't think they knew how to use him. I think France knew, and they were guided to a World Cup win thanks to Paul Pogba all the time. Juventus was an unbelievable side with Paul Pogba in their team, utilized in the way that he could be utilized. I think he is gifted, special. Just as a shame what happened to him. I think that the doping stuff is obviously his fault. I mean, there's nothing you can get around. You can't get around that. So he's obviously at fault for many things, but somebody who got me into the game itself is Paul Pogba. I'll say him. But I mean, I think probably a more general answer is Lionel Messi. I think Messi, I've always been a Messi head. I think Messi's the greatest player of all time. I said that before the World Cup win. After the World Cup win, I was like, okay, I've been validated for sure here now, and yeah. Seville says, what is TOTS Plus card, which says in the description of the guaranteed TOTS pack from Seasonal Cup. TOTS Plus is one with more chemistry. Most of you guys know that. I'm gonna skip past that quickly. MGD says, if you could be any type of animal, what would you be and why? This is a good question. I'd probably say an ant, because while I'm small, if you know what I mean, I could make an impact at the same time. I'm just kidding. That was off the top of my head. That might have been not funny to anybody. I'm just gonna move on now. Gymnastics. I'm not the jealous type. Let's just say my happiness is fading for the Eredivisie fans. They regularly get Player of the Month SBCs. I've had to like a Player of the Month MLS design for like 3 years without an actual MLS Player of the Month. What the fuck? Why include new designs for cards that don't exist? Just pick a random player from the league. It's not like they pay attention anyway. It's a good point, to be fair. Funnily enough, the video I'm gonna make tomorrow is probably about Messi winning Player of the Month. There has not been an MLS Player of the Month SBC since 2021, and Messi won MLS Player of the Month just this month. That was like yesterday it was announced. And there's a card design in FIFA leaked to be, I think it's just voice crack, leaked to be the MLS Player of the Month design that we have yet to see yet. So yeah, I don't know what's going on with that. Eddie says, I think EA dropped the pack weight later into the week because I opened like 50 really good packs from Wednesday and I haven't packed TOTS. I think this inclines people to go to the store. And yeah, there's a lot of like stories about people that open packs during midweek and they're not packing shit. And people say it's like, okay, they want me to go to the store. Could be the case. You could just be unlucky. You could be lucky if you did pack things. I mean, it's so tough to say with probabilities. It's a very complicated system of luck and unluckiness. It's quite complicated, but I've said many times that any EA conspiracy, I'm not really a conspiracy guy, but any EA conspiracy, I'm probably more inclined to believe than most others because they run the game of the way they've run the game the last decade. I mean, you can't, if you're not like willing to believe any EA conspiracy, you're probably not too in tune with what's going on at the moment. Moose be the money. Oh, must be the money. Okay. What was your favorite card? You were surprised to be much better than you expected. Bobby Charlton. I think that Bobby Charlton's base card and his promo card way better than I expected him to be. I didn't expect Bobby Charlton to be so good. I think every rank 1 or borderline every rank 1 I've gotten this year, probably 7 of them have been with Bobby Charlton in the team, even to like 2 weekends ago. I based Bobby Charlton team 2 weekends ago, got rank 1. So yeah, I think he's probably the number 1 answer there. Vrolic says, I'm in the Netherlands and playing against USA players 6 out of 10 times. Maybe it's because I mainly play in the daytime. Yeah, if you're in the Netherlands and playing as USA players, I got nothing to say. I don't know why that's happening. I don't ask me. I'm not the fucking IT guy. I wish I could help you more, but I unfortunately cannot help you. I wish I could. Mega Swain says, don't want to sound like a whining old git, but is anyone finding rivals ridiculously hard at the moment? And last sentence, if this is skill-based matchmaking, then I may as well throw the PS5 out the fucking window, then jump in the pond. Well, if it's a pond, you probably won't drown and just get yourself wet. So that's just gonna make things harder. If you want to actually kill yourself, you'd probably jump into the ocean. That's neither here nor there, though. I would probably say the reason for this is because the season reset very recently. I think that's probably actually the reason you've got harder players in the higher divisions, because it reset recently. Other than that, I don't really have a direct idea as to why that's happening, but I'm sorry it's happening, and hopefully you can battle through it at the moment, because I'm sure it's frustrating. David Velasco, did you start playing FIFA because it was the cool thing back in the day, or did you start playing it because you loved watching football? And a good question, because I actually started watching it because I started loving the sport. I had friends that just started playing it, not like playing it in terms of, you know, in their high school teams, but just playing it like for fun, right? Playing it once in a while with their friends, playing the game. I went over to my friend's house and they were playing FIFA. I think it was FIFA 14. And I saw, you know, Miroslav Klose Bayern team, Schweinsteiger, and Toni Kroos, and Manuel Neuer, Jerome Boateng. I saw that whole team, and I was like, I'm learning these players. This is becoming like more and more fun to me. I started to like find my own team, which ended up being Juventus with Pogba, Marquisio, and Vidal, and Pirlo, and all these guys. I ended up starting to like Juventus because that was like me getting into a whole new sport, and it opened up a whole new sort of like, almost like a third eye in my head of like a whole sporting endeavor I never even imagined I would get into. And I just fell in love with it immediately. I don't know what it was. I just fell in love with it immediately. I've watched football religiously ever since, almost since 2014, been 10 years now. I tried to become, what's the word? I tried to become more knowledgeable of the culture of football, where it came from, and the legends of the game, and all, you know, all of the above. I tried to become as much of a football savant as I could be over the last 10 years, and I hope that I do know at least a little bit of ball. And I did start liking FIFA because it really was just, I loved watching it. My friends, like the cool kids, quote unquote, you know, we're in America, they don't usually like soccer, so one of the cool kids were fucking doing it, so I did it. It was like, I loved the shit. I couldn't stop watching it, so I just kept going. Question for you and your audience is Chica to Loca. I am wondering if there are still players using an Evo'd card since the start of the game, and as the evolution's the only plus for this release of EA's football game. Is Evo's the only plus since the release of this game? I mean, I don't want to be cynical, but it's one of the few. I'll be honest with you, it's probably one of the few. I mean, what has been a glare, like an obvious W since the start of this game particularly? I think Evolutions is one of them. And What else is a glaring W? I mean, I don't know. It might just be Evos, to be honest with you. I might be forgetting something that you guys will remember, but it might just be Evos. I'm not really sure. Marco says, I packed 97 Holland from player pick. Jesus Christ. I did 100 every day for the last 3 months and got nothing. What was your best pull from those packs? My pack pull, if you want to go watch, you can watch a stream with Youngman's son. It's on the live tab of my JFC channel. H says, hey bro, I wanted to know whether you will do a new team review video. And also, I would like to tell you that you are the best content creator there is. Kissy face, kissy face, kissy face. And thanks for the kind words. I love you. And yeah, I have one coming up like tomorrow. I think I'm gonna have a second channel video out like tomorrow of the team I'm doing right now. Pedar says, I watch your channel every day and you are one of my favorite YouTubers. Thank you so much. I'm getting more drunk, so I'm slurring my words. But why the fuck do you advertise a coin selling website? Last time I bought coins from them, EA banned me. Can you help me get unbanned for buying coins from MMOXP, to which you advertise? Thank you in advance. And here's the thing. You can get banned for buying coins. You definitely can. It's relatively rare, I must say, but you definitely can. And I don't want that to be forgotten by people who end up buying coins, especially from my sponsor. You can get banned for buying coins. I know people personally who have bought 100 million coins worth and are fine. And I also know people who have bought 100k coins and have gotten banned. There's just no way to know how they catch you. But this is the thing with me. For one, I would rather people buy coins and get banned if they end up getting banned, which is relatively rare, I think. But if they do get banned, like, I'd rather that happen than you spending $175 on FIFA points to get 500k coins, and then here you are just tapped into this fucking game and you feel like you're obligated to play it because you spent so much goddamn money on it. And people forget all the time that if you buy coins, you can just buy your players straight up that you want to buy. If you want to go and buy a million coin card like Marco Reus, you can buy coins and then go and buy that card. And FIFA points, if you buy, you're just gambling, right? So there's a pretty distinct difference to me in buying coins and buying FIFA points. Now I can understand why you would think that, hey, if you can get banned for doing this, why would you promote it? And I understand that, but at the same time, if I was big enough to not need a coin sponsor, I probably wouldn't have one. I think that it's a lot better to buy than FIFA points. I mean, it's a million times better to me, in my opinion. But yeah, you can get banned for it, but also I am getting paid for promoting the coin sponsor. So, and I don't get paid a lot. I mean, I have a video, like, this video's coming out on the second channel that literally cannot be monetized. Like, this hour-long video I have no way of making any money off this video apart from putting the ad on this video. So part of it is literally me saying to you guys, I want to make this my fucking full-time job so that in the future, I don't have to promote coins if I don't want to. If you guys are like, hey, stop promoting coins, I'll fucking stop doing it in a heartbeat. As of right now, what's better, promoting coins or promoting FIFA points? To me, it's not even close which one's better. Because one, you can just buy shit and buy your favorite players that you want to use, and one, you're becoming a fucking gambling casino addict. If you're buying coins, don't spend them on store packs, please. Use your favorite players in game, because that is well worth your money. And I totally understand if you think you know, I am being a hypocrite for promoting a coin sponsor. Like, I totally understand. I don't agree with you, but I totally get it. And I don't want you to think that I think you're an idiot for thinking that, but I'm also trying to be as realistic as I can possibly be. I want to get to a point where I can reach the most audience I can, and for me to do that, I want to grow my channel. And to grow my channel, I also need to at least make some sort of monetary profit off of this. Otherwise, I'll be putting work into the ether and having nothing off of this. So it is a very tough situation to deal with. And I just want to say, you know, every person that watches me, I mean, I can't thank you enough for just being here. If you're at this part of the video, however many minutes in we are, I cannot thank you enough for being here. I mean, you guys are the reason. I mean, you give me purpose. I know it sounds super cliche, but this might be the booze talking, but you seriously are. I mean, you are everything to me, and I really appreciate you. Tony Sopranos is also passing on Havertz. My midfield and left back are stacked. It's center back and forwards that I need, LOL. And won't say too much about this, but yeah, Havertz, no incisive pass. I have a hard time with Havertz in midfield, honestly. Shari says I can't get the best out of Son. Where do you use him? I use him as a left forward in my 4-3-2-1, and I don't really know. I think you just need to be a left stick dribbler. He has press proven plus, right? So press proven. My next video coming out in like 12 to 24 hours from now on this channel is literally a video about press proven plus and how it's a very underrated playstyle. People don't really use it the right way. Maybe that'll help you out a little bit, but left forward 4-3-2-1, he is fucking insane. I would really recommend using him there. See if you like him. Give him an engine chem style. Give him whatever chem style you think. You change it up until you like him. That's probably what I would recommend for the most part here. Del Rick says it's finally time to replace Rolfo with all these new cards coming out. It depends. I mean, if you love Rolfo, then no, and if you think she's mid, then do it. It's kind of a personal preference at the end of the day, I suppose. Mr. Gilly, flashback goalkeepers, question mark. Could be. We had flashback Joe Hart a couple years ago. We had Petr Cech in like FIFA 20. I don't remember. We've had a couple flashback keepers over the years, I think. Ghost Lee says I got a question. Isn't Nkunku better than Vasquez at CM? That goes a bit forward. I'm so sorry to hear that. Once again here, Vasquez, no incisive pass, which is a huge L for me. I think incisive pass base is kind of like a borderline must-have in midfield. So I'm gonna say Nkunku myself, but that's a very personal preference in my opinion. Peachy Hen says, hi, how are you? I'm doing great. I just found this channel very informational video. I liked it. So hyped for CR7, but I probably won't be able to try him. Sadly, you won't be able to because you are a poor motherfucker, just like me and the rest of us. Abacus Frost says, nothing. What's it taste like? Now, see, there are a lot of different ways I can answer this question. A lot of different ways. Now, I must say, Abacus, that I'm not sure what you mean, but I would say it tastes pretty damn good. That's what I would say. Lucky tries trading. The pack weight is shit. The pack weight is shit. Fuck eafc. The pack weight is shit. Everyone's got to vent somewhere. I'm glad my comment section is a way for you to vent. I'm really glad. Thank you, Lucky. Pack weight is fucking shit. I really appreciate it. BVV. Starting here about Marco Royce Sikowski. We need an end of an era Royce expeditiously at Sumia. I have been getting around rank 5/6 in champs using my pre-patch 71 plus depth tactics to recommend a tactics change. If you've not used my tactics, I've got a tactics video out a few weeks ago. I uploaded. I'm gonna upload another one within the next like 3 to 6 days, I would say, of my 4-2-3-1 tactics that I would recommend. But for right now, if you're struggling, might as well try and use my tactics. See if it's better for you. If it's not, then it can't probably get worse for rank 5-6 when you get like 9 wins. You don't got much to lose at that point, I suppose. So fuck it. That's what I would say. I'd probably maybe try and do. Nats fan says Rio or Konate, which player is better and which SBC would you recommend? Konate to me. Konate with the place that Konate is fucking insane. I'm not gonna lie. Konate is better than I expected, and that dude is fucking nuts. So that's what I would say. I think I've been talking for like an hour plus. So I'm gonna call it now so you don't have to hear my voice anymore, because I'm sure you're probably tired as shit of hearing my fucking voice. If you made it to here, comment what's the little peach emoji? It looks like an ass. Comment the ass emoji, please, in the comments so I know you're a real fan and you are the fucking best. I absolutely love you. I'll see you on the main channel, on this channel, very, very shortly. I love you all. See you then. Peace.